If you struggle at the net in tennis and you want to improve and feel really confident and solid up there, then you've clicked on exactly the right video. Unfortunately, most tennis players are following the old school advice of step and punch on their volleys. I've worked with a lot of students recently who clearly have been following that advice, and as a result, everything at contact ends up being tight and stiff and tense. And listen, a punching style volley can work great when you're close to the net and the ball is high, but all of your opponents are working hard to not give you those shots. And you have to make your way up to that point to earn that close shot. So in between the baseline and that put away shot, you have to learn how to use touch and softness and be subtle with your volleys and be under control. So here's a series of drills you can follow to make that a reality. Drill number one, you can do this with somebody tossing a ball to you, somebody feeding to you, or with a ball machine like I have set up here. And all you're gonna do is have them send you like a medium pace ball, turn to the side and set up your racket in a comfortable position. We're not gonna worry about grips today or racket position or anything like that. Today we're just gonna learn how to feel the ball, which is the key to being really killer up at the net. So as I receive the ball, I'm gonna turn to the side, track the ball, and just leave my hand and my racket behind the ball. And so from the side, what you're gonna see is the ball collides with my racket and pushes it back. I'm not fighting contact. I'm not trying to guide the ball. I'm certainly not trying to like punch the ball or resist contact. I'm just letting the ball win the collision. In my experience, tennis players struggle with this. When the ball comes towards their racket, it's like they gotta do something. But in real life, as the ball is coming towards you, often you need to take pace away from the shot. When your opponent's trying to pass you and all you can do is step and punch, the ball is just gonna rebound and spray off your racket all over the place. So this is step number one, is learning how to absorb energy by just relaxing your hand. And by the way, what I'm not doing here is I'm not pulling the racket away from contact. And I'm also not trying to scoop or spin or like carve the ball or anything like that. I'm just leaving the racket here. Just do nothing. Just do nothing. And that, for most players, is the hardest part. But if you can start getting comfortable with this, then you'll see in a moment how it just builds on top of everything else. Now that you've started to get a feel for what it's like to relax your hand, we're gonna add some body movement into this. Good volleyers use their feet and they use their bodies to hit their volleys, not their hand and their forearm and their shoulder. So what I'm gonna do here is turn and face the net post, and I'm going to take my racket in a comfortable position, just like I did for the first drill, and start with my hand at my back hip. And then what I'm gonna do is leave my body in this position and practice rotating from the hips, forwards and back. And I'm gonna turn about like 45 degrees or so. Back to where my hand is at my back hip, and then forward to where my hand is out in front of my body. And this movement here is gonna be the core of my volleys. And so once I get really comfortable with this, then I'll start receiving a feed again. And what I'm gonna do is do 2 practice pivots back and forth, and then I'll receive 1 ball. And my goal is to make that same movement. And so I'll repeat, rotate, rotate, and then hit. And as I'm doing this, my goal is to take the loose, relaxed hand that I had from drill 1 and inject it into this movement. So when you watch from the side, as I rotate forwards, my racket is still getting pushed back. As my racket gets pushed back, my body is turning forwards, and this is like the killer thing that most players are not able to do. Anytime their racket moves forwards, their hand clamps down. And so the combination of rotation and tension is what sends the ball flying and spraying all over the place. If you can successfully turn forwards and keep your hand relaxed, now you can absorb energy from the incoming passing shot and direct it towards your target at the same time. So your goal should be to get to the point where you can calmly rotate your body forwards with the racket while maintaining a very loose, relaxed hand. And the combination of those two things is what gives you the potential to hit any spot on the court with any incoming ball. If you're looking to fully master your net game, then go to essentialtennisacademy.com right now and sign up for a free trial of this membership area. Because inside we have a module called Pinpoint Volleys. That'll show you how to place your volleys on a dime. You can get free access to it right now at essentialtennisacademy.com. Next, we're going to add footwork, and this is where, again, a lot of players get it completely wrong. A lot of players step and then punch, and it's a double whammy. First of all, if I step before the ball arrives, then I've used up all of my momentum, especially when I just kind of stomp and stop, which a lot of players do. And then when I add the jerky, abrupt, kind of jagged, stop of the punch, that's when you just totally lose control of where the ball is going. So instead, what you want to practice is setting up on your outside foot. So if you're a right-handed player, that's on your right foot. And then your goal is to time a push with your right foot with the turn that we practiced in the previous progression. And as you turn, you want to meet the ball and then land on your left foot. So the process here, the sequence is right foot, hit, left foot. Right foot, hit, left foot. And so practice that a couple times before going to a ball. So when you go out to your right foot, you're taking your hand and putting it at your back hip like we practiced before. Then as you push off your right foot, you're going to rotate, hit, and then land on your left foot. And if the ball comes a little bit towards you, you can simply push out to the side. You don't have to always step forwards. Frequently, it's not possible. So after a couple practice ones, we'll start the ball machine and practice setting up and pushing. And from the side, you'll see that I'm hitting and then landing on my left foot. And practicing this sequence in that order is really important. Hit and then step, as opposed to stepping across and hitting the ball. You want to transfer smoothly through the ball, and that gives the ball additional direction and also control. It also takes away responsibility from your hand to have to be doing the hitting. Now our body is turning, our feet are flowing through the shot, and so your hand really doesn't have to do anything except just set the strings where you want the ball to go and then have the right firmness. And that's what we'll talk about in the next progression. So up until this point, we've kept firmness kind of a constant, and we've added rotation, we've added the step. Now we're going to start experimenting with different firmnesses. And so up until this point, I would say my hand, if 10 out of 10 is like as hard as I could physically squeeze the handle, and if a 1 is like barely holding on so that you could just take the racket out of my hand, I would say up until this point, I've probably been at about a 3 or so, maybe a 4. And so what you want to start doing is experimenting. I'm going to keep the ball machine feed the same, but now I'm going to go up to like a 6 or a 7. And so the result here is that it's going to be a much more direct shot. I'm still going to turn and transfer, and I'm still going to flow my racket and my feet through the ball. But now you can hear there's a much more firm sounding hit to this, and the ball is now traveling through the courts at much more speed. And that's because I'm no longer absorbing energy. I'm firming my hand and continuing to rotate and transfer, so I'm sending a lot of energy back. And then practice going down to like a 2. So on this one, I'm going to relax my hand a lot and just let the ball bounce off. I'm still going to transfer. I'm still going to turn my body, but my hand now is really soft and relaxed. And so anywhere between a 2 and an 8, once you get the feel for how to dial in those different firmnesses or how relaxed you are, when you're receiving a low ball from far away, no problem, you can handle that. When you're receiving a high ball and you're close to the net, no problem, you can handle that, you can put it away. Most players have the same dial setting for all their net shots, and that's why they're not successful at the net. So if this has been helpful, do me a favor and click the like button. It helps these lessons out a lot. It helps more tennis players see these lessons who really need them. If you have any questions or comments, make sure to leave them down below. And as you progress and you continue to learn, start increasing the speed of the feed as well. Make the environment a little more difficult and practice staying calm and relaxed with your hand no matter what ball you receive. That's what great net players are able to do. I hope this lesson helps you move in that direction. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.